Well, I think you can figure out what we're going to do. Got the motor somewhat stripped down and got the turbo stripped down as well. And so these are the 3 flanges we're going to need to make. One on the exhaust side of the motor, the turbo flange where the hot pipe from the engine goes into the turbo, and then this is going to go on the exhaust housing of the turbo so that we can then build an exhaust off of that. So I made these 3 rough templates out of cardboard. We're going to go ahead and transfer them over to this piece of 3/8, and we're going to cut it out with the plasma. We got it mocked up. Got the turbo flange and the exhaust side of the engine flange made and just tacked together. So it's about where I'm envisioning it sitting. And at this point, we have to run our oil lines for the feed and the return. The plan right now is we're going to return to this dipstick, and we're gonna feed from the oil pressure sensor. We get rid of that and maybe relocate it somewhere else. So that's what we got for the time being. Plumbed in. This is all 3/8 compression with copper nickel brake tube. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the motherfucking feed tube from the old LBZ. So this bitch is a Duramax. Fuck yeah. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Alright, we just gotta do the drain and then it's time to make noises. Okay, so we got the turbo plumbed in, the high pressure line that we were looking at before, and then our super overkill drain that is just temporarily down into the dipstick tube right now until we get the correct fitting.
Temporarily permanent.
And we've got our test battery hooked up, and in a second here we're gonna go ahead, once the dogs be quiet, and we're gonna see if this thing cranks. I know it's a running motor because Liam told me, but we're just gonna see for our purposes. So Kyle, if you would. Yeah. She's gonna run. You just gotta go out and get some diesel. Yep. So as you saw when we cranked it there, we weren't getting fuel out of the injector, nor were we getting, or out of the pump rather, nor were we getting it up at the injector. So we took this out, made sure that the cam inside the engine was moving as it should, made sure that this was functioning as it should, everything checked out okay, and we just did a little test snot, and you can see that we are getting fuel out of it, so we're gonna give it a second shot. So now we can tighten that. So we can put this down somewhere and see if we can get it to start up. Open the door. Optimistic. Oh yeah. Give her. doing some diagnostics now to try and determine if the issue is engine side, if it's turbo side, what's exactly going on. We were having some difficulty with the turbo, so what we've done is basically isolated as much of the turbo as possible to eliminate the chance of it like snagging anything and maybe binding up as a result. So what we're going to do here is just give the motor another test hit and see if we get any kind of spinning out of the turbo this time. So it's the end of day one, and well, our goals for today, Kyle, was to acquire the engine, check, get it running, check, put on the spoolie boy, check, and confirm operation of said spoolie boy, check. So the turbo fought us a little bit, but it seems like each time we ran it, got a little bit better. As Kyle was pointing out, the more hot oil getting into it since the thing was sitting for a minute and a half. So at this point, we can kind of take a pause on the engine itself. There are a couple small things we got to look at, like maybe figuring out a different way to plumb the supply, do a permanent plumb on the return, put the shrouds back on it, that sort of thing. But now the next step of this project is going to be to go acquire the golf cart that it's going to go in and start figuring out what modifications, if any, need to be made to that. And another thing that we're going to have to take into account is we're currently working with a tapered shaft, so we got to go see Metal Guy Tony to have him make us up a adapter to get rid of that. So little by little, but all in all, pretty successful first day on the little diesel. So stay tuned for more of these. We're gonna kind of float these in between the Duramax videos and just give ourselves a break from the Duramax, because it's gonna be expensive and a pain in the ass. So as always, thanks for watching. Look forward for future videos.